Hello everyone and welcome to the March 25th, 2015 episode of Balls Deep Sports Talk. And man, am I in a great mood for the show tonight, and there's lots of reasons for that. I'm assuming you noticed that we have an awesome new show intro now for the show. That's definitely one of the reasons I'm in such a good mood. Thanks to Nick and Adam for helping me whip that together last night. And also, I'm assuming that you notice, if you've been a previous listener of the show, that tonight the sound quality is finally coming to you clear and free of robot alien digitized nonsense. So very happy that we finally got that figured out as well. Thanks again, Adam, for working with me late last night. And should be just so excited that the show is going to be presented the way it was intended to now, from now on. So thanks again, Nick and Adam, for helping all out on that. And another reason I'm in a great mood tonight is because it is WrestleMania season. I am a huge WWE wrestling sports entertainment fan, whatever you want to call it. And this Sunday, March 29th, is WrestleMania 31, which is basically the Super Bowl of the professional wrestling world. So if you're a fan, like I am, you're super excited about it. And there's a lot of news to cover in regards to the matches and real WWE news as well. And so I am devoting the main focus of this show to previewing WrestleMania. I'm hoping that this becomes my annual WrestleMania preview episode. However, if you're not a sports entertainment fan, don't worry, there will still be other sports talk, a la NFL, NBA, college basketball, hockey, all that stuff, later on in the show. Do not worry, we will get to all that at some point in the evening. But I have decided for tonight's WrestleMania preview extravaganza show that I'm going to mix things up a little bit here, and I am not going to make anybody wait for the meat. I'm going to give you the meat right out of the gate. So we will not be starting with Balls on Fire tonight. Maybe Balls on Fire will be later in the show. We'll have to see how long the WrestleMania preview runs. But we are making our WrestleMania 31 preview the meat of the show tonight, and we are starting off with that. Now, I say we, and for once I'm not meaning the proverbial, metaphorical, generic, I/we. I genuinely mean we, as in there is another person here on the show with me tonight. But I could not be more excited to have this special guest on the show with me this evening. I thought, what kind of WrestleMania preview would it be without some sort of special guests to spice things up and lend their expertise? So I went out and pulled in the utmost authority and top expert on all things WWE that I have ever known in my entire life. Now, I gave him the choice, and he chose to protect his anonymity and his identity by going by his in-ring name. He happens to be an aspiring WWE superstar. And so let's welcome you to this show, Doug Sanders. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, now, Doug Sanders here is I think you could call a lifelong sports entertainment fan. Is that correct?
Maybe. I don't know yet. For sure, I started at not too young of an age, but, it hasn't been too long, but, I've been a fan for it quite a bit lately, since 2012.
Tell us who your favorite wrestler of all time, or your top two favorite wrestlers of all time are.
My number one is Macho Man Ray Savage, who's going into the Hall of Fame this year, actually.
Nice segue, that's right. He was the first inductee announced in this year's Hall of Fame class.
The lead.
And the head of the class, that's right. Excuse me, sorry.
That's okay. And my second favorite wrestler is Mick Foley, Mankind, Cat to Shaq, Do Love, whatever you like to call him.
The hardcore legend. Mick Foley.
Yeah, Hall of Fame inductee, 3-time WWE champion.
Nice. What year was he inducted into the Hall of Fame?
2013, the year with Bruno Sammartino also.
Oh, all right, so if you can't tell, Doug Sanders is a walking encyclopedia of sports entertainment knowledge. And you might also be able to tell by the sound of his voice that he is younger. Yeah, he is younger than I am, and we won't say exactly how old or how young he is, but
part of the identity.
But odds are, if you're listening to this show, that odds are he's younger than you are. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But all right, well, man, we have so much wrestling stuff to discuss here on the show in anticipation of the big WrestleMania 31 coming up here this Sunday. It's going to be a 4-hour event with a pre-show in front of it.
Hour-long pre-show.
An hour-long pre-show in front of it, so 5 hours in total. And we're going to be discussing all the events that go along with it, all the matches.
Including the Hall of Fame.
Right, and since you brought up the Hall of Fame earlier, we'll start this segment with the Hall of Fame class going in here before we get to any actual matches. But as my guest mentioned earlier, the first announced Hall of Fame member of this year's class was Macho Man Randy Savage.
The lead, I believe so, at least.
Yes, the head of the class, that's correct. And, of course, he will not be there, obviously. He's passed away.
But his brother Lanny will accept the award for him.
That's
presumably.
right. And who, now was he in the WWE as well, his brother Lanny?
Yes, he was also known as the Genius at that time, who managed the likes of Mr. Perfect.
Oh, there you go. If you remember the Genius character from the 80s, that was Macho Man's Randy Savage's brother. So there you go, if you didn't know that. But maybe you knew that. But yes, I was very excited when I saw that Macho Man was inducted finally, long overdue. So it was good to see they got all their issues worked out and could get him in.
He will be inducted by Hulk Hogan.
That's right. Hulk Hogan will be inducting him. I forgot about that. Thank you as well.
A lot of heat towards Hulk and Randy. People they don't like Hulk inducting Randy, but I personally okay with it personally.
Yeah, see, and I'm okay with it too. It's not perfect; it's less than ideal, but I think with who's available and knowing that Lanny has to accept the award and can't induct him, his brother, I think Hulk makes sense. I also think that had Ultimate Warrior not passed away last year after WrestleMania weekend, that he would have probably been the one inducting Macho Man into the Hall of Fame this year and not Hulk Hogan.
But sadly, he has passed away.
That's right. But anyway, some of the other Hall of Fame inductees Monday night, it was announced on Raw that the final inductee of this year's class, Kevin Nash.
Sexy.
Big Daddy Cool, Diesel. He had many monikers he went by as well.
One of the longest reigning WWE champions, actually, in the 90s.
There you go. Interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, I don't think it's been announced yet who will be inducting him. Probably Triple H or Shawn Michaels or
Scott Hall or X-Pac, any of those guys.
One of those guys in the clique. But yeah, he's the head of the class basically for the living. He's not the official head of the class, Macho Man is, but when it comes to who is inducted last at the ceremony, who gives the final speech, stuff like that, yeah, Kevin Nash will close the ceremony out. But also announce some of the slightly lesser names that have been announced. Larry Zbyszko, the living legend.
I love it personally. That's an awesome pick.
I think that was a great choice as well. Have you heard who's going to be inducting him?
No, I have no idea yet.
Wow, I actually know something Doug Sanders doesn't about wrestling. The man going to be inducting Larry Zbyszko is none other than Bruno Sammartino, the other living legend. Yep. So I thought that was great. Rikishi
inducted by his two sons.
We assume, at least. I don't know that they've officially announced it.
I know for a fact.
Okay, cool. Awesome. That makes sense. But yeah, Rikishi's in the Hall of Fame this year. Tag team.
Bushwhackers, personally, they could have chose a better one, but...
Yeah. The fact that there's no Demolition...
Or Hart Foundation.
Yeah, or Hart Foundation or the British Bulldogs.
Edge and Christian, Hardy Boys, Dudley Boys, any of those guys, they could have been in.
But they chose to go with the Bushwhackers, who were nothing more than,
from New Zealand.
A tag team version of Heath Slater bater back in the 80s.
Slater Gator.
Yep. But they did have a lot of tag team success in different promotions throughout the world, globally.
Yes.
And I know WWE always likes to have at least one
celebrity,
sometimes two, global, international representatives.
Yes.
And the Bushwhackers being from Australia and holding, how many tag team championships did they have? It was like 26 or something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Of course, none in the WWE, but in other promotions throughout their wrestling career. And I want to say they wrestled like 40 years?
Yeah, over
4 decades,
40 years.
Something like
yeah.
that.
So 4 decades.
You know. But yeah, they were inducted as a tag team. And again, there's other people that should have went in before them, but I'm okay with them being in there. They're very memorable. I grew up with them as a kid, and they were a very, like I said, memorable, you don't forget them, one of your favorite, look forward to, feel-good characters and acts in WWE.
At the celebrity inductee, which is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's right. WWE's Hall of Fame has a celebrity wing, and this year they inducted the Governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The Dominator.
Oh, but yeah, what has he all worked with WWE?
Well, he did. He punched Triple H. He went SmackDown, punched him in the face.
There you have it. If you're Arnold Schwarzenegger, all you have to do is go on an episode of SmackDown and punch Triple H in the face,
and then you get remembered and get in the Hall of Fame.
In the Hall of Fame for it. Yeah. So congratulations, Arnold.
Got Diva inductee this year, Alundra Blaze, also known as Medusa in WCW.
That's right. She would be best known, I believe, for when she left WWE to go to WCW and was the women's champion at the time in the WWF. And she brought that belt with her to her debut episode on WCW and threw it in a trash can.
The rest is history.
Yes, but that was she was a very good wrestler.
We watched a match of hers against Bull Nickel at like SummerSlam. Remember?
That's right. Yep, that's right. Very good, wrestler, large, athletic, strong, powerful, fairly agile. But yeah, a good diva induction, and they like to induct a diva every year as well. Let's see, who else do we got rounding out the Hall of Fame class? And then let's get to some matches, huh? We got Tatsumi Fujinami.
Sorry if we pronounced that wrong.
Yeah,
if we
right.
did
I say that right?
That's
he's the international wrestler of.
I believe he competed in the WWE for a little bit.
I believe you're right. I think he did in the Golden Era, possibly.
Yeah. I think he faced Demolition in a tag match with some other wrestler.
And then there's one final inductee. I'll give you the honors.
It's a total of 9 Hall of Fame inductees, and I think he's the second best choice to be inducted into the Hall of Fame besides Macho Man, Connor the Crusher Michael. He is amazing.
Give us a little info about Connor, who Connor is, or how you can learn about Connor.
Well, I mean, he was one of the poor kids that had a disease during his lifetime. And his favorite superstar was Daniel Bryan. And he wanted to meet him, so he asked to meet Daniel Bryan on a Make-A-Wish.
Yep, working with Make-A-Wish Foundation, that's right. That's how he got involved with WWE in the first place.
Yep, and then he kind of met a bunch of other superstars. He kind of went backstage sometimes.
And that would have been at last year's WrestleMania, correct? When
all
that happened?
Yep, he would. He showed up at WrestleMania 30 in the crowd. I mean, Daniel Bryan, I believe, went to him after he won the title.
I want to say you're correct. You can watch a really awesome documentary
on Connor
the Crusher from his WrestleMania weekend and experience last year.
Or you could watch his induction video too. You could always watch his Hall of Fame induction
video. But you
video.
can watch that story on him on the WWE Network if you are smart enough to subscribe to it for just how much is it again?
$9.99.
That's right. If you haven't heard the catchy jingles for WWE Network. That's what it sounds like a little bit.
I think that the Hall of Fame was a pretty good one. I don't think it was as good as the 2014 or the 2013 one, but it's probably been the third best Hall of Fame I've seen besides 2005.
Yep, I agree. I think last year's was just a little better, mainly because you had, like, the bigger names were still alive yet.
Yes, there were so many big names
yet. Scott Hall, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Ultimate Warrior all alive.
Also, you got a
and
pretty
present.
good celebrity inductee from that year, Mr. T.
and as good of a diva as you could ever get in